learn how to use spices is to use them. Is to trust your instincts when you're starting to cook a dish, that when your instinct drives you to a certain spice or a certain collection of spices, go for it. See how it tastes, okay? The most sort of universal, easy thing that we can all practice with is just grinding pepper. To me, I think one of the greatest foods there is an egg, fried, poached, whatever, with some fresh cracked pepper and some sea salt. So even though we're working with all these things, salt and pepper is actually really beautiful spices. I always use a little bit of salt when I cook. In the same way that salt brings out the flavor of savory food, so too does it with sweet food. So you see this kind of new craze of chocolate with sea salt and this and that. I mean, there's a reason for that. There's minerals in it, just as there's minerals in the chocolate. So it's kind of a pairing, so to speak. So it brightens up the flavor of sweet food. When you think about it, food is sort of it's really like a blank canvas. I mean, this rice pudding, even this chili, we could have gone any which way with this chili. It's tomatoes, it's onions, garlic, and lentils. I could have sort of just thought to myself, I'm going to make really different chilies, a combination of all these wonderful flavors, blah, blah, blah. And I could have gone to the stove, started cooking the onions, put in the lentils, etc., and said, you know what, I'm not quite in the mood for that anymore. I'm thinking maybe I'm going to go Indian. I might go Moroccan. I might go West Indies. But what does happen for me is balance. And that's sort of what this is all about. Is in cooking, in every aspect of cooking, but certainly in spices. Coriander and cumin are kind of standard in chili powders. If we took one of those out, if we took out the cumin or the coriander, you would notice it. It would taste flat. It would taste imbalanced, and in my mind, that would be it would taste flat. You would be kind of longing for something. You know, that's sort of the whole, in cooking, the more you practice, the more you can balance things out. And in cooking, chili, something like this, like a curry or a chili powder, or in Moroccan food where they're combining really interesting different things like saffron and cinnamon and sugar. Okay? Not easy to combine a lot of spices and create balance. It's also not easy to have just a few spices. Less is more in cooking. You know, if you didn't have these kind of large, extensive ethnic blends, chances are you might only have 2 or 3 flavors in a dish. There's a lot of different ways to bloom spices. The idea of blooming spices is to kind of wake them up. Say like, okay, I'm going to use you, and I want to get the most out of you. How am I going to do that? So there's several different methods for doing that. And there's several different methods for using ground versus whole spices. For blooming ground and blooming whole spices. So while I'm heating up this pan, because I'm going to bloom the cumin seeds by toasting it, and then I'm going to grind it fresh, and then that's what we're going to add to the guacamole. This just instantly transports me somewhere. This smell of toasted cumin is just so beautiful. Okay, and then I'm just going to grind it. That's those oils that are actually burning off. Whenever you're working with spices, it will always get stronger as it sits. So with an herb, you can dry roast herbs. I do it. It's a little over the top. It's not quite necessary, but it's just fun. Also, you have to be really, really fast about it because it's a leaf. It's going to burn real fast. If it hits the meat, you're done. And also, when you're cooking with herbs, you want to add them at the end of cooking. There's enough heat. These are so delicate, and there's enough heat in this dish that what I want to do is basically just add it and fold it and then serve it, so that the flavors of the herbs are really bright. You've just bloomed them, and they're really pronounced and beautiful. And the other thing is that you just want to rub them together so that it crushes it up and it releases those oils.